Imagine being just 21 years old, full of dreams and hope, only to find yourself married to a man older than your grandfather. For Maya Johnson, life took a turn she never saw coming. A poor girl from a small town, Maya thought marrying wealthy businessman Richard Alden would change her fate forever. But 10 days into their marriage, something happened. Something so dark, so twisted, that it shattered her world in ways no one could have predicted. Maya grew up in a tiny, struggling town where opportunities were as rare as sunlight on a stormy day. Her family barely scraped by, and she often dreamed of escaping the cycle of poverty that seemed impossible to break. Then one day, Richard Alden walked into her life. At 70 years old, he was rich, charming, and promised her everything she ever wanted: a luxurious home, financial security, and a chance to leave her troubles behind. Desperate for a better future, Maya agreed to marry him, ignoring the whispers of doubt in her mind. The wedding was quick, almost too quick, but Richard assured her it was because he didn't want to waste another moment without her. For those first few days, life felt like a fairy tale. But beneath the surface of Richard's polished smile and expensive gifts lurked secrets darker than Maya could have imagined. Things started to change on the 5th day of their marriage. Richard began acting strangely, disappearing for hours without explanation, locking himself in his study and snapping at Maya over small things. When she asked what was wrong, he brushed her off with vague excuses like work stress or headaches. But deep down, Maya knew something wasn't right. On the 7th day, curiosity got the better of her. While Richard was out running errands, Maya decided to explore the house. She ventured into his study, a room he had strictly forbidden her from entering. The large oak desk inside held stacks of papers, but one folder caught her eye. It was labeled simply Project Legacy. Inside, Maya found documents that made her blood run cold. Bank statements showed transfers to offshore accounts, names of people she didn't recognize, and cryptic notes about final arrangements. Among the pages was a photograph of a young woman who looked eerily similar to Maya. Scrawled across the back of the photo were the words, "Replacement candidate." Panic set in as Maya realized this wasn't just about money. It went deeper. That night, during dinner, she confronted Richard. "Who is she?" she demanded, slamming the photo onto the table. Richard froze, his fork clattering against the plate. For a moment there was silence. Then, with an icy calmness, he said, "You weren't supposed to find that." He explained that the woman in the picture was his previous wife, Evelyn, who had tragically passed away under mysterious circumstances. What he didn't tell Maya was why Evelyn died, or how her death tied directly to him. Feeling trapped and terrified, Maya tried to leave, but Richard stopped her. "Don't make this harder than it has to be," he warned. The next morning, Maya woke up to find all her belongings packed in boxes by the front door. Confused, she ran downstairs to confront Richard again. But instead of answers, she found 2 police officers waiting for her. They accused her of stealing valuable items from the house. Items Richard claimed were missing. It became clear then that Richard had orchestrated everything. He hadn't married Maya out of love. He needed someone disposable to frame. As the officers handcuffed her, Maya screamed, "Why are you doing this?" Richard just stood there, emotionless, and replied, "Because I can." As the police car drove away, Maya stared out the window, tears streaming down her face. She couldn't believe how quickly her life had unraveled, but just as despair threatened to consume her, she remembered something Richard didn't know she'd found. Hidden in the study, tucked inside a book about ancient artifacts, was a key. A small rusty key with an address scribbled on it. The address wasn't local, it was for a storage unit 2 states away. Whatever was inside that unit, Maya knew it held the truth about Richard's dark past. And if she could get to it before he realized what she'd taken, she might have a chance to turn the tables on him. But escaping wouldn't be easy. With no money, no phone, and the law convinced she's a criminal, Maya would need to rely on every ounce of courage she had. Will she uncover the secrets hidden in that storage unit, or will Richard catch her first and silence her forever? Find out in part 2.